All right, welcome to the weekly meeting, 719. All right, I'm gonna go over these trades, these 6 month joints. Okay, so depending on your your structure, this EuroCAD trade, if you have this as your daily swing, broken close below the swing, now we're getting the pullback. If you have your daily lower, then you haven't reached it yet. But this has dropped about 200 pips before the pullback. So I would expect once this pullback is over for it to start pushing. Um, the weekly candle is a little bit of that's a lot of wick because you got a lot of the pullback. But if you can drop to the lower time frames, you can probably get you a better entry opportunity. And what I would say is you don't necessarily have to rush on these trades that are scheduled to go like hundreds of pips. You can wait for you to see a break of structure um, on a time frame of your choosing. Like even all the way up to the daily if you wanted to. But just food for thought. Like some of y'all might want to see it break this this level right here, break this low, pull back, and then you get in. All that is okay. It just depends on you as a trader and how you want to approach that trade. All righty, let's talk about these USDs. Okay, so Euro USD, we've rejected this imbalance that we spoke about. We pulled back, and it's just kind of consolidating, right? Um, so you're in between um, this low and this high. Um, I know that the dollar turned bullish on us last week. If you listen to the news heads or the fundamentals, they'll tell you it's because of the Jerome Powell situation where Trump is talking about firing Jerome Powell, and the markets are reacting to that.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Well, yeah, we can we can talk about
So,
it.
well, I thought I remember us talking about it like a long time ago that Jerome Powell couldn't be fired and he was just going to run out of,
You can't fire him unless
term.
unless you fire him for cause.
Oh, it was an exception. Okay.
Well, you know, what they're saying is, like the Fed they got their office remodeled or whatever, and it cost like $2.5 billion. It ran over budget. So what Trump is or what Trump put out there was that he could fire him for cause, saying that that's a misappropriation of funds.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, of course it is. But from the articles that I read, it's saying that if Trump does fire him, that the markets are seeing that as just Trump firing him and putting somebody in there who's subservient to the president, which is not how it's ever been. So that loss of confidence would drive the rates up, the long-term rates. So that's why the dollar uh, fell. We'll have to see. So it's always something that like some news always comes out to justify what you already see on the charts. So this area was already marked out. We already said that we see a rejection. And then all of a sudden you get that news, and that's the cause for the markets to reverse. Um, I've just kind of learned not to get caught up in the news, like whatever it is, it's always going to be some news event that makes the charts play out. So, um, I'm not going to pay attention to what they're saying about Trump or try to dig for information about, why who Trump is going to fire or hire or why. I think if you look at the other chart, this GBP chart, if I look at it on the daily, we did break the swing on the daily. So it needs to buy back up. And of course, we're right around that time where that news hit too. So, depending on which one of these trades you're in, um, your objective has been met. Now, I'm not saying we can't push lower. I'm not saying we can't push to this zone that we're very close to before we pull back. But if we start pulling back now, according to my charts, um, it's fine, right? We can pull back. There's an imbalance at the 135 area, or we can pull back to this zone that we never touched at closer to the 190 or 136 area. And I don't know which one it will be. You just kind of have to wait and see. Some of you guys are savvy enough where you can trade it back up once it starts pushing up. Other people can't. So if you know that you can't counter trend trade or whatever, you can't trade it back up. You're not good enough, then just wait. Don't trade it back up. Set you an alert um, at this daily imbalance, and then you'll see what price does at that zone. If it plows through this zone and it comes up to this demand or supply zone up here closer to 136, set your alert for about 135.85 and see what price gives you in that zone. You don't have to force anything. Um, I know sometimes we do want to force our way. When I look at this 2 week chart, the 2 week, um, we didn't close as a bearish OB, right? Came pretty close, but we didn't close as a bearish OB. That doesn't mean a whole hill of beans, because if you look over here, the same thing happened right here, right? Uh, to me, this is not closing as a bearish OB, but the market still pushes down. I think we have enough. I think that the market is going to push down. I just don't know if we're going to pull back uh, first, or we're going to push a little lower before we pull back. But to me, I've seen everything I needed to see for this GU trade um, to believe that it is going to cooperate. The EU trade is a little bit behind, but it is what it is. They don't always move together. This is clearly not a bearish OB, but again, there's been plenty of times where you get a bearish OB, you get a tap in, and the market pushes up again. So this could not be a bearish OB, uh, and we can still get the market pushing down. So that's what I expect. I don't expect that EU is going to keep buying, but you should always um, understand that there's a chance if it does buy or if it does take off buying, there's an imbalance above price. To me, this is light years away, like hundreds of pips. So if we hit that imbalance, it would have to go up another close to 400 pips, which I don't foresee, but anything is possible. As long as you have both sides of it or you see both sides of it, um, it's it's better for you as a trader. If I had a choice on which two of these I would trade, it would definitely be GU over EU. If you're already in EU, it's not a big deal. You can TP uh, and look for a entry into the GU trade, or you can just ride your EU trade and you can mark on your charts your swing highs and swing lows. And what I would definitely do is if I was trading um, EU or in the trade, I would make sure that I marked this 4 hour high right here. And if price hit that 4 hour high, it would be an exodus for me.
Wait, say that again. If price hits the 4 hour high right
Yeah, I
there.
would get out. Yeah.
So like if
Because
it breaks that wick, right? You're saying that that wick was the buy that we were anticipating, the pullback we were anticipating.
for me, it definitely was. Yes.
You don't think it's a foreshadow of where it's probably gonna go,
Well, it
and then
could
it's gonna
be.
take that high?
Yeah, it could be, but it would be a foreshadow without me. I don't mind. Like the market is can go back up there. I think it definitely could be a foreshadow. All I'm saying is if I'm in it for a sale, why would I not take profit? You know?
It's a great question.
So yeah, that's all I'm saying. If it breaks that 4 hour high, that's a change of character on the 4 hour chart. So at this point, it would pull back to maybe go higher. Even if it just goes back to this imbalance right here. That's cool, but that's a lot of pips. If price goes from where it is right now back up to this imbalance, which it very well could, like 130 pips. So I would rather just buy that than hold my sell trade. I would rather pocket my sell trade and then buy that 130 pips. Does that make sense? But if you're not
Yeah.
a counter trend trader, if you don't see that buy, then don't worry about it. Just take your profit and allow price to pull back and then look to get in when you see a change of character for it to start selling again.
So I don't trust myself to be able to get out, get in, get out, get in, right? Like I see the buy. I can take a buy. I can take that 135. I would probably close my sell. And then I probably would leave EU alone and go find something else.
Well, then that's always an option because you got EC, you got EA, you got GU, you
Mm.
know. But it to me it all comes down to you as the trader, right? Um, we're paid to make decisions, so you have to look at whatever setup you like the best, and then take that setup. If you're a JPY trader, then you had a a good setup last week. If you're um, looking at the dollar for UJ, it's the same. It's the same, but it's opposite, right? You got a bullish 2 week order block, but you hit a supply zone. So I know we're going to pull back, but you have to. This is where you're going to have to say, "Hey, man, um, this could very well turn into a 2 week bearish OB, right? Because if you look at this, price came up, pulled back to basically 78%. We haven't broke these lows yet. So this push down could be the one that break these lows and we could keep selling if the dollar is going to head down from here.
I
Uh,
thought you said the dollar was bullish.
well, we just talked about the dollar. You know,
Hmm.
we
Yeah, I
just
thought you said it's bullish. It turned
well,
bullish.
no. The dollar turned bearish on the Trump news, on the fire in the Fed news.
That I promise that's not what I heard you say earlier. My bad. I really heard you say
No, the
it's
dollar
bullish.
was climbing, which is why we were selling EU and GU. The dollar was getting stronger, right?
Right, makes sense. Oh,
And
and now everything's turning around. Okay,
yeah,
I maybe I misheard you because I really heard you say
yeah, no,
bullish.
yeah, no. So we were selling EU, selling
Yep,
GU. The
yep,
dollar was getting stronger.
makes sense.
Then all of a sudden, on Wednesday, they come out with this news about firing the Fed, and that supposedly turned the dollar bearish, you know. So if that persists and we just start tanking, then you have your fundamental understanding of what happened. Now, I don't think that that's going to happen. And I don't know, but I don't think that that's going to happen. And the reason I don't think that that's going to happen uh, is because of that big beautiful bill. And I read when the big beautiful bill. Hey, Sean, are you in here? When they passed this big beautiful bill,
I am a Fred. So, what do you want?
hey Todd, did you hear that Besant was going to manipulate the short end of the bond market?
Uh,
Huh?
I don't know if he can or not, to be honest.
He can't. Well, he can. They can force the banks to buy them bonds too.
Well, yeah, that's true. Um, so here's what I've heard. And I don't know the duration of the bonds or the treasuries or whatever. But basically, I don't know if y'all have heard all the talk about stable coins,
Yeah,
and the Genius
yeah.
Act
So they're
and
gonna buy
all this
stable
stuff.
coins, which is basically the same thing.
Yeah. So as everybody buys stable coins, they're really the stable coins are going to be backed by these bonds. So, you're going to have a shit ton of bond buyers. Now, I guess in theory, some of them bonds or treasuries will be 2-year bonds, some will be 10 years, some will be 30 years. I don't know how they're going to break down the duration, but stable coins is how they're going to, replace, I don't know, China or whoever kind of bailed out, due to the tariffs, said they don't want to buy American debt. They'd rather buy gold. Those people will, in theory, be replaced by stablecoin buyers. So I guess some of them, enough of them, will be on the short end of the curve.
Well, I agree. And TT, UJ is buying. I don't want y'all to I don't want y'all to get what I'm saying mixed up. I I want to tell you what the news is saying, like what's out there fundamentally that's supposedly driving these markets. I believe this is what I believe. And I hate telling y'all sometimes what I believe because if it doesn't happen, y'all be like, well, you said such and such. This is what I think that we're gonna see, right? But y'all have to understand we're at a crossroads here. So this could happen and we could go higher. But also what can happen is just a sell, right? We could sell and go lower. You're at the point in the market where the market has to dictate to us as traders what it's going to do. And there are two different stories in the news fundamentally that can play out. One story is we could fire Jerome Powell, the dollar could lose its value, and it could start to tank. I don't know if y'all remember uh, a year or two ago, what's old girl's name in London? The girl that tanked the
Russ,
yeah, Liz Trust, the Liz Trust uh, situation where she introduced some policy that absolutely torched the British pound. This could be the same sort of scenario if Trump does fire uh, your boy, because it's going to make it look like the Fed chair is not independent, and it's going to cause a loss of faith in the dollar. That news is out there. I just have to make you aware of that. So if that happens, this is what I would expect. I would expect the dollar to just go ahead and tank off the cliff. Um, so that is an option. What I think is going to happen is that news is going to force the pullback, and then they're gonna make up next week and say, "Oh no, we're not gonna fire him," or whatever the case may be, and then the dollar will do its thing. That's what I think. I already told you my bias was that we're gonna pull back based on that 6 month bullish order block that we have on euro and the British pound. So my bias is that the dollar is going to get much stronger in the short term. And I read something last week that confirmed that about that big beautiful bill, and how Besant is going to manipulate the short end, which is going to cause the dollar to strengthen immediately. But long term, the government needs a lower dollar. in order to get out of this debt, this debt spiral. You can't have a high dollar and be paying these interest rates. It is not going to work. There's a school of thought out there that the Fed should have let inflation get a lot higher in the 2020, like Biden's administration. They shouldn't have jacked the interest rates up so high. They should have just let the inflation eat y'all's money.
Who's schooling that thought?
I don't know, one of them white dudes.
I know the way all these motherfuckers was bitching and whining about the price of eggs. I know ain't nobody trying to revise history like that.
You know, these guys are fund managers, so they're millionaires and probably billionaires. You know, like the guys that say that are saying this, but they're also economists. They understand the economy. There's two ways to get out of debt. You can default, right? And you can be out of debt, but it'd be like a Argentina situation. Or you can devalue the dollar. You can let inflation cook the money down, and you can start paying that debt down. You can deflate your debt. And I'm not going to pretend that I'm an economist. You know, I'm just learning a lot of this stuff myself. But Trump has an economic degree. He understands that too. That's why, if y'all remember, he's saying, you know, the dollar's too strong. We got to devalue the dollar. The way he goes about things are bass backwards. You know, like it's just
It's really not why he's saying that, but
well, I don't know. You know, I'm just telling you what his people say when they speak. You know, like you have Republican, you got the conservatives, and you have the Democrats. And when they come on these shows, there's a show. We watched the show, I think, in this group. There's a woman that runs a show on YouTube, and I post some of those shows a lot of times, but she has conservatives and Democrats on there, and they're economists. Everybody has a different view of how you can fix the debt. But I think
everybody has the same. It's a two-way fork.
Yes, it is.
The problem I have with it is depending on who's in power, you know, their suggestions and their methods switch. You know, to answer Kenya's question, you know, what happened in Argentina, you know, their shit got hyperinflated, you know, not yesterday, you know, some years ago. They had hyperinflation, you know, like Zimbabwe and a lot of these countries with shit currencies.
Well, hold on, Shad. Before you just go past that, it's going to happen here too.
Well, you know,
maybe not to that to the Zimbabwe level.
It will not be to that degree, you know, because it can't be. But you know, the larger point here that I think people need to understand is when you inflate your currency, you do devalue your debt. You do make it worth less. So if you got to pay it off, you're paying off less. The other side of that equation, you know, which is why Trump and Bessent are pushing so hard to get the dollar down, is you explode asset prices.
Yes, but in who? I feel like we need to talk more about that. But who? Only the affluent buy assets. Like the poor people don't buy assets. That's why
they don't in general. However, if interest rates are low, if I'm mom and pop business out here on Main Street and I borrow money primarily to run my business, I can afford the cost of capital now because I'm not paying 5% or 7%. You know, I'm paying, you know, 2%. So the margins, I got more wiggle room, you know, to take home more money.
Dr. Lacey Hunt, award-winning.
Or if my business maybe doesn't do as well, I still can maybe be profitable because I'm not on the hook to pay for capital at 6 or 7%. So that's why, you know, they're pushing for this shit to go down. The problem I kind of have with it is we had the same problem when the last guy was in the chair and all they wanted to do was bitch and whine about the price of eggs. They didn't give a fuck
Well,
about
I agree, but I'm
comedy.
talking about the poor people, like the regular black folks in the
I
hood.
get it, man. I get it. I know who you're talking about. Those same poor people was whining about the price of eggs.
They're about to go
Were
up.
they not?
They were, but what I'm saying is this big beautiful bill is going to recreate that environment.
Well, I know it is. It's going to explode asset prices and you're going to get inflation with it,
Exactly.
which is why I be begging people to put your money in crypto, put your money in ETH, put it somewhere. If you're not a good trader, quit gambling week to week, you know, on these charts and take some of that money and invest it in something that you know is going to go up because the big, beautiful bill says it's going to go up.
And if they fire Jerome Powell, according to the articles I read, the dollar is going to tank. Like
Well,
the world is watching. You know, I'm not an economist. The only thing that I do is read the articles that these economists publish.
well, shouldn't it tank?
You said what?
Shouldn't it tank?
Yeah, of course it should.
I mean, ain't that what the British pound did when Liz Truss went in there and wanted to cut interest rates?
No.
Because basically what you're doing is you're the country, if you think of the country like you do your household, the country needs tax receipts. That's how the country gets paid, via tax receipts. But if you're going to cut taxes, like we've already done in the big, beautiful bill, and you're going to get a sucker in there, or a sycophant in there that's going to drop rates, because the administration wants them to, yeah, the dollar's going to tank the same way the British pound did a few years ago. I mean, I personally will be cool with it because, I probably will get my $1 million goal, overnight, probably. But that's what's going to happen. And it will explode. It's going to explode the prices of assets. It's going to explode the prices of everything, I would think.
Well, but that's the same thing that happened in Venezuela. The people who are invested weren't touched, but everybody else, their money is dirt, is worth dirt.
Yeah, but ours won't quite be. I mean, we're going to get some inflation, but it ain't going to be like Venezuela or Argentina or Zimbabwe. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, I don't think it'll be like that either, but it might cost $30 for a soda.
Like,
It might.
it
It
ain't gonna be
might.
no $30. It ain't gonna
Hey,
be no $30 for a soda.
listen, it might cost $30 for a soda, a
Well,
$10.
if it's $30 for a soda, that means I probably made 10 or 15 million
Well, you
dollars.
might.
So
You
I'm
might. It's
cool
just
with it.
that your 10 or 15 million, I mean, as opposed to other currencies, the value is going to be way down. This is the article that will kind of explain why why the dollar would drop. Um, the Fed's poison chalice. Basically, if you're firing the Fed uh, for cause, nobody else looks at this as cause, because of the renovations ran over. It's just going to make it look like that the president is looking for somebody who's subservient to him. So that's if y'all are interested, y'all should read this. But also, I want to show you, Sean, the podcast because I think all of y'all would benefit from that too. New tab. Let me see. YouTube. This is the chick right here.
Chief economist at Hoisington Investment Management, an absolute legend and a friend of this show, and someone we always look forward to talking to. It is so wonderful to welcome you back to the.
The dude's name is Luke. Luke.
All this stuff.
This dude right
once you
here.
Oh, okay. But you want to play a
Luke
piece of
Groman, founder of FFTT, Forest for the Trees. It is so great to see you again, Luke, and it is so wonderful to welcome you back to the show. I feel like it's been way too long, and we always love having you on.
You know how you listen to Rob Paulson?
Yeah.
This dude is like Rob.
Hedge funds and tax shelters. I mean, the Cayman Islands, I think, population 65,000, I think is now the United States' fourth biggest foreign creditor, right? That's hedge funds. UK is number 3, I think, maybe even number 2. They might have surpassed China. Again, UK runs twin deficits. That ain't based on trade or trying to manage the value of the pound. Those are hedge funds. Those are funds. They sell when Treasury ball rises. So Powell cut rates, and a lot of people said, "Wow, the 10-year sold off on him cutting rates." That's not what I expected. That was exactly what I expected. Like how he chose, and now here we are again. A little bit of the same thing. Is he going to cut in the second half? I don't think the 10-year at the long end is going to come down much at all. He's stuck.
It's going to go
if he
up,
lets the economy continue to weaken, receipts are going to go below interest on the debt and entitlements. And so we're not going to cut, interest won't come down. It's only going to go up, actually, because it's still below market, if you will, right? In other words, the weighted average coupon on the debt, I think it's still in the 3s. It's on its way to 4 on 37 trillion in debt. So that's going to keep going up. Entitlements aren't going to get cut. Entitlements are growing 2 to 3 times faster than receipts because boomers. And look around you. We're not exactly getting healthier as a society. And now we're throwing war on top of that. That's not, that's more defense spending. That's neither here nor there. But so like if he doesn't cut rates, then we're going to get into a potential moment where, you get dollar up, bonds down, stocks down until they have to react. And if he does cut, you're going to get stimulative. I think, maybe we get a momentary decline in the 10-year yield, but not by much, not nearly as much as all the bulls think. And then I think it's going to take off like a scalded cat, like it did last September. And then again, I think he's really going to be exposed. Pete Powell's really going to be exposed to exactly how cornered he is, which is, to the first point, that's what the divergence between dollar yen and, the yen and the 10-year JGB yield and the dollar and the 10-year Treasury yield. That's what it's telling us. That's what the divergence between gold and inverted U.S. real rates is telling us. They're stuck. So I don't have a strong feeling on rates. People ask me at the time, what did I think Powell should think? What do I think he should do? I think he should go get in a time machine, go back to December 21 and resign when he was still considered like the hero for fixing COVID, because it's all downhill from there.
So you don't see any potential solutions, and like he's just stuck. It's just that.
Well, there's solutions. There's just, the solution is there's a rock hanging over 2 people's heads, and whose head does Powell want to drop it on? And when I say rock, I mean like the friggin' boulder in Indiana Jones, right? Like, do you want to drop that on the dollar, or do you want to drop that on the bond market? Basically that's his choice.
And
he's got to crush the dollar, or he's got to crush the bond market.
Which one do you think?
And by the way, if he crushes the bond market, literally he's going to crush the dollar like 2 months later, because yields will spike. And as soon as the market sniffs out that, oh my God, interest is way, they can never do this because the receipts are interest rate sensitive. So the receipts will decline non-linearly. And their interest, at 120% debt to GDP, their deficits are going to rise non-linearly with it. The market will sell the dollar then either way.
Mm-hmm.
He's stuck.
Okay.
He screwed up in 22. He needed to let inflation run hot.
Okay. I'm also just looking, the last time you and I
So you see what I'm saying, Sean?
Yeah, I do. In full disclosure, I don't understand every single thing he said. And I think for my purposes and probably for most people's purposes, you know, in the group, what we know is this. We know there's $37 trillion of debt. We know they're not going to default on the debt. So if there is a problem, some Liz Truss kind of moment or some Japanese carry trade unwind, whatever it is, something seizes up in one of those markets due to lack of liquidity, because that's at the core what it will be. They will rescue the markets and they will go higher, just like they did during COVID, just like they did during the Great Recession. So that right there is why I say some of the things that I say. And I probably come off probably a little arrogant sometimes when I say it's going up because it has to. That at its core is what I'm talking about. It's not that problems won't happen or come up, but they will, but the Fed will have to rescue it. Scott Bessent at the Treasury will have to rescue it.
Well,
Because
but
if they
I
don't,
think I think we're saying the same thing, but all signs are the dollar has to get weaker. That's the bottom line. It does.
I've been saying that for years.
So here's the deal. The only reason the dollar is strengthening, this is a pullback before the dollar continues to drop. Now, if Trump fires your boy, this pullback ain't gonna happen. It's gonna drop.
Not firing Powell.
Well, I I don't think he will either.
It's not. He's not going to do it. I just find it interesting. We're in the back half of July, and the dollar spiking. What happens every fucking summer?
Well, I know.
It's just. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's going to pull back, and then it's going to go down. I mean, Powell will cut those rates in the back half of the year, maybe September, maybe October. I don't know. He's going to cut them. And let's just say he doesn't cut them. Bessent will push liquidity into the markets. They will go higher because they have to.
This big
And
deal.
then Powell's shit will come to an end in 2026, and they'll put their stooge in there. And then the rates will get cut. And the dollar will tank even further. Who gives a shit? It's coming down.
Well, we care because we traded. But kill you, why you laugh? I didn't kill you. That's an iPad. But
no, it was me. But Sean is funny. Like the
know.
way he expresses it is hilarious.
It is funny. But listen, we care because we traded.
That was funny.
My point is this: the reason why supposedly the dollar got weaker, not because we broke that swing low, but because Trump is threatening to fire your boy. And all of this, fundamentally is the reason why I knew the dollar was going to buy anyway, right? So I think the dollar needs to buy to about 104, I believe.
How many pips is that, Todd?
Well,
you talking on the Dixie?
It's the Dixie, so it's points, but I think if I just looked at UJ, it would probably be around where I have this price right here. But it's going to be enough to drop 800 pips for UJ. I mean for EU and GU. I think it needs to pull back that much before we go in the opposite direction. But we always have the news. The news is going to tell us whatever story it needs to tell us. So I got the dollar needing to pull back to I think. I think this should be the area that it pulls back. Maybe it pulls back here though. And even if it does pull back here, we're going to get a rejection. But um, we'll just have to see how it plays out. I just found it interesting that the news had a reason for this dollar getting weaker. I'm not in the United States, so I don't know like day to day what happens. I never knew about the budget overrun or whatever that happened at the Fed. I didn't know about any of that. I just got that email about the poison chalice, and I read the email. And I'm like, oh, this that ain't that rich. But we already knew by looking at the chart that we were coming to a place that we should get a rejection. So all I'm saying to you is if you're trading and y'all are in the States and y'all hear this stuff, you have to understand where to take your profits or whatever. Like, I don't want you to feel like you have to panic out of the trade. We kind of talked about I think on Tuesday about the price rejecting at that area that it was at on the Euro USD. And if we go back to that EU trade, we had talked about getting the rejection in this area. Now, I didn't know that there was news coming out, the next day, or that afternoon that was going to cause price to spike. All I'm saying is big picture wise, regardless of what happens, the dollar needs to fall. So we're going to eventually start climbing on EU and GU. But some things will make that process happen faster. And that's like if we fire the Fed, we might as well just buy EU and GU because it's going to cause the dollar to accelerate, the decline to accelerate. But I wouldn't necessarily worry about that sort of thing because this reminds me of that Liz Truss situation when she tanked the British money with her introduction of that policy. How long was she in office? About 2 weeks?
You talking about Liz Truss?
Yeah.
I don't even think it was that long. I mean, maybe it was 2 weeks. I mean, she was in there and out of there awful quick. I never seen nothing like it in my life.
I never saw anything like that either. But I thought they did that girl wrong. But
I don't think they did.
well, I don't either now. But back then I did.
She had to go see the king, or was I think had the queen died. He had to go see one of them royals, or
She was in there for like at least a month.
She was in there for a month.
Yeah, she was in there for a month, maybe like just a little bit over a month.
Oh, okay.
September 2022.
She had to go.
49 days later. God no.
I know the king had her up in that office getting her a tongue lashing about losing confidence.
49 days. That's crazy. Maybe they'll do Trump like that.
Nah, he is our king. See them over there. They got a real king, and then they got the PM. Our president is a king. SCOTUS said that a few months ago. So,
a king. All right. So basically, that's where we sit with that. If I'm y'all, I'm not going to stress out or make too much of it. I would just watch mark your swing highs and take your entries or whatever at your swings. And I would just allow time and price to dictate what I'm doing. If I'm biased for the dollar to pull back, which is I am biased. When I say pull back, I'm biased for the dollar to get stronger. Through this month, that's how I'm trading. I'm waiting for the dollar to sell a little bit and give me the advantage by being able to enter at a discounted rate to buy the dollar. And that's the flip side on EU and GU. I'll let it get to the premium at a discounted rate or at the premium rate so I can get in for the sale. And once we get closer to the summer, and once I start seeing the article saying that the dollar's time is up, then I'll prepare to start selling the dollar and buying those other assets against the dollar. Okay, so EA. For me, EA came to this imbalance, rejected, came back up. We got another rejection here. I expect that EA will continue to roll over and come off this cliff. Now, if you're trading EA, or if you decided to get in EA, if I'm you, I'm marking this low as my next key area. Obviously, it needs to break through the current low, but this is the next key low. Now, when it breaks this low, you can see that big imbalance. You're going to get some ridiculous rejection. It's going to happen. It's going to reject from there. And so if you're trading it down from where it is now, I would be looking to TP just below this low. Because when it hits that imbalance, I don't know when or how far into that imbalance it's going to make it. It's going to reject. It's going to reject hard. And then, but I expect it to roll over again and keep selling after that. But if you're getting in here, I would be looking to TP at that low or just below that low. All right, we talked about this Chef Jappy. Based on that 6-month candle, for me, I had this marked up. I guess I deleted my markings, but I'm not interested until price comes and breaks this low. So maybe price gave you a bearish order block. Maybe it came back into this this bearish order block to sell, but I don't care about that sell from where it is now to this red line. I only care about getting the candle closure below that red line before I look to start shorting any Chef JPY trade. All right. Does anybody want to share their chart?
Yes, I do.
Let go.
Okay. So I don't really have a lot going on my chart today, but we'll
Sometimes
see.
a chart without the graffiti is the best chart.
Um, so I just noticed something, and then you could let me know if you know what your thoughts are. But I think there's some divergence between US 30 and
I said that like
bonds.
3 weeks ago. What are you talking about? It is.
You
It's
said
big
what?
time divergence between US 30 and the other two.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I just saw it as far as like structure. I mean, clearly this is a range, right? And I'm hoping that these news events will break
I
that
hope we ain't looking at
range.
the 4 hour.
I am,
Uh,
but we could go back to the weekly.
Well, I mean, we got the 2-week candle close, we got a weekly candle close, but you taking me straight to the 4 hour where I got to be blinded on the smaller time frame.
Oh my God, that was big for me. Yes, sir. Okay. So price broke the previous day's candle. So I do see, I'm sorry. You want me to go to the what? The weekly?
I would go, yeah. If you got the 2 week, but
I
so
do. You
is
want me
that
to
the
do
lines right
this?
there?
Where?
Okay, the 2 week golden zone. How you got it marked up? Oh, interesante.
So I do see a pullback to
Me too.
possibly here, but that's long term. And then price didn't break structure. So it could take these equal highs up here, which is also looks like the all-time high. It could take that first.
Go back to the weekly.
What, sir? Okay.
No. Nope. So what are your thoughts on this? I
Mm,
can tell you what I think easy. Bread.
so the only thing that I could see for like what I see is a lot of well, first of all, if we're looking at it from a panoramic standpoint, all of this right here is just corrective movement. Like
Well,
on
look,
the
that
four.
go to the daily. Go back to the daily. You making me laugh.
Um, why? See, all of this is corrective movement to me. So price is gonna break out of this.
Well, I, okay. Go to the weekly.
The weekly or the daily?
The weekly. So on the 2 week or on any time frame, we got to come back.
Hmm.
You're killing me, Smalls. We got to come back here.
I'm sorry.
No, go back to the.
Oh, Lord. Where am I going?
Just leave it right there. Make it wider. Okay. So I would say, and now stop, please. I would say that I want to come back right here to this level. You see
This,
that?
I mean, I had this mark.
You do have it marked up, but I think you're losing faith. All that's happening is you have this candle, and then you have an inside bar, right? You see
Let me
the
move
red
this so
candle's
I could
inside
see.
bar?
Let me hide this stuff so I could see what you're talking about. Because that was just from my lower time frame. Mm, I'm trying to hide everything.
There should be something
It's over there on the left hand
on your
side.
left hand side, right here.
Oh, thank you. Voila. Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
So you have this candle, and then you have an inside bar. That red candle's inside bar.
Mm-hmm.
Now you push down and you took out two lows right here, right? Normally I would kind of be alarmed and say, hey man, we took out these lows. We're probably going to go higher. Maybe the market goes up and takes out the high of this candle. But to me, all we did was run into this imbalance right here. This remember, I said when you hit these imbalances, you're going to get rejection. So that's all that happened. We hit that imbalance, we got a rejection. Maybe we go up and take this high before we push deeper into that imbalance. But to me, there's no circumstance where we won't come to that candle right there.
Well, that was my first, yeah, that was so the 4 hour and then the 2 week, those are my two areas. So,
So maybe
but I
price,
wasn't really liking the 4 hour because it was in the range.
but maybe
Because
it
I
goes
was
up and
like,
takes out these highs right here, this high. I would look for price to go in between these two highs and sell down.
is that in the same area
Well, I think it is.
as the
I don't
4 hour?
put your unhide your drawings and see. Unhide your
Um,
graffiti.
I don't even have that much.
I know I'm just being facetious. All you gotta do is click that same button.
Mm. Let me go to the 4 hour. So this is where I was looking for price, either to sell from this or from up here. down into that 2 week.
So what if it
Um,
goes through your zone and takes that high and it comes down?
you talking about up here? Like
Mm.
do like a liquidity grab?
Yep.
Well, this is all speculative. I have to
Well, it
watch
is.
price action.
It is speculative. But since you ask, I just um told you what I think could happen. It's definitely speculative. I don't have any insight on if it actually will happen. But I do think that it's pushing lower, whether we take that high or not. I think we're pushing into that zone that you have marked up.
You talking about on the 2 week?
Yep.
Actually, so I really was bullish, but then I was like, Todd, he always takes the reversal. So he like trades it up or trades it down into an area. So I
Well,
was like, maybe I can find a spot.
you
I
identified the
feel
area
like
you
maybe
identified the area, not me.
you said what?
How are you bullish, but you identified the area below that needed to be mitigated? On your 2 week chart, you have your 2 week zone. That's not my 2 week zone. I don't even have that on my chart, but you have it on your chart. So how is it that you're bullish, but you have that zone
N
mark?
No, okay, maybe this right here, I'm expecting price to buy from here.
Oh, well, listen, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, if you expect price to buy from it, but how many pips is it, or how many points is it down to that zone?
Right, so that's why I was looking for an entry to sell into that zone. But I was concerned because on the 2 week price didn't break this, but it broke it on the daily. It broke structure on the daily, so I was looking for
Where
price
did
to
it break the structure?
possibly
Where did it break the structure on the daily?
see it broke here.
To me,
So then
that's a
I was like, well,
liquidity
maybe
grab.
price will
To
sell.
me,
Yeah, but I was like, maybe price will sell down into this area. But I usually don't like trading this even though it's on a daily, I don't like trading consolidation. So that's why I was asking, because I really don't know. I really usually don't know what I'm going to trade until I see Asia London, and
well,
then
maybe you'll see it.
I'll use.
Maybe price will end up here somewhere. You can't see because maybe price will end up here somewhere, and you'll see that it needs to sell.
No, I agree. I'm not saying it's not gonna sell. I'm bearish, but I won't be able to see anything clear until closer to
Right. I'm which
9:30.
and a lot of times I tell you what I think, and then I don't look at it for a couple of days. And when I look at it, when I look at it, maybe price went down here first instead of going up to my area. And I'm like, man, there's a clear trade back up to this area. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times when me and you talk on the weekend, we'll talk and we'll have the areas identified, but I'll tell you what I think, and then the price will go to the opposite area first. Does that make sense? That's always possible. It's always possible that price, for whatever reason, maybe it opens with a gap down and price sells down to this area. And now
Yeah.
it needs to buy back up to the area that we talked about before. So, I think all of that is important. But can you squeeze this chart in so I can see what's below that second level of consolidation?
You saw this? Like
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, squeeze it down more, like on the side. Yeah. No, no. Okay.
Like,
Okay. So yeah, I would definitely stand by what I would want to see price come here and then see what it's going to do.
I think that's a good spot. Actually, I never even looked at a 2 week chart until I saw you mark up something. I said, "Oh, I'm gonna start looking at that," because I'm telling you, I didn't look
It's
anything past the 4 hour or the yeah. So when I was marking up yesterday, I was like, let me see what's on the 2 week. Because anytime you mark up pairs, you always go to the 2 weeks. So I was like, well, let me see if I
Well,
see
I
anything.
like going to the highest time frame that close. It gives me the advantage. Like to me, the only reason to look at that 6 month chart is to see, man, if price pulls back to the golden zone on this 6 month candle, that's 1,000 pips. Like the only reason to start selling EU or GU was because the higher time frames gave me the advantage. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I mean, we could have waited until we got the structure break on the 4 hour or on the daily, but that you missed the first 100 or so pips. It doesn't work for everybody, but for me, it works very well. And that's really all that matters.
Can I
I
show
agree.
you um US 100 real quick?
Yeah, we can see that ugly trade, the ugly chart.
It's nothing really on there. This is the most basic. I promise you, I don't have. Ugh, it's terrible. Okay,
It's
so
the most hated rally.
you said what?
It's the most hated rally. That's something my brother always be talking about.
So that's pretty much what I'm seeing is a retracement into this daily candle. Um, and then there's a FVG plus a breaker block right here. I think this is clearer to me than 30. Like that looks like price will come hit this and then come and take these equal highs, right?
Hmm.
That's what that's what I'm looking at. But 30 is not as it's not as clear to me. I mean, yeah. Except for
Well,
that
I,
two
I
week.
like I like the US 30 and the German 40. I think those are the clear charts.
Do you think it's clearer than Nas?
I do. I mean, you know, or I like them better than us.
Since we're given the
Gotcha.
charts, these hip nicknames like 30 and 100. I mean, what about P? What's Master P
Who?
gonna do? Have y'all looked at that one?
Master. That just went over my
100,
head.
S&P 500.
Nobody trades the S&P because they can trade the Dow Jones.
I would just I was just messing with y'all, man. Y'all
Let me
don't
look.
But the DE 30 or the DE German 40 is a good setup.
You said the German 40. I
Yeah.
could go to it if you want me to.
Let me see I don't even know the name of that thing.
German 40. I
Yeah.
used to like when I first started trading indices, I actually started with that because it was a lot slower.
There was one night I tried to trade the German 30,
You got
burned the
you got
hell up.
wrecked.
Wrecked. Account smoking. You know,
How'd you get wrecked?
I don't know, man. It was just one of them times when you get one of them runaway trains that you're on the wrong side of, that we used to talk about. Hey, after that price hit me and smoked me out of my account, I mean, I was just like head spinning and embers smoking.
I think this gonna sell.
That's what you think is gonna sell.
Hmm.
Um, I was listening to a podcast, I don't know, probably 2 weeks ago, and the guy said that liquidity was drying up in the month of August. So it's not surprising to me that all these charts suggest sells because if there's going to be a pullback in liquidity, then, and they estimated it to show up, about August in the charts or in the assets, this isn't surprising to me that all these charts suggest, a pullback. And that dollar chart suggests, a rebound in strength.
For sure, for sure.
Well, thank you for your assistance.
I
I
know
don't
you
have
only
any
you
other
only want to
questions.
see the industry charts.
I mean, you kind of went over EU already, and
And
I just wanted to get feedback. Sir?
GU, GU and EU. I like GU. The GU setup to me is better than the EU setup. Just me personally. Hey, Alfie. Alfie,
Yes,
can you share your chart? Are you on that?
sure.
Hey, is everybody bullish on gold? I'm asking for a friend.
I mean, its chart probably looks like these indexes, doesn't it?
Well, gold,
I mean, if the dollar is getting stronger, I mean, I got to think that it suggests,
gold and the dollar has been detached for a while. For a while, man. A while.
well, I mean, I think gold just front ran, the dollar weakness.
I'm on some of those podcasts that I listen to, like with them dudes, they think gold should be like, or gold should be like in the 25K area.
Well, that's because they're basing it off of dollar debasement. And, maybe they're right. I mean, maybe the price of gold is manipulated lower, so the central banks can load up. I mean, I don't know, but that's why they say that though. If you're going to debase the dollar, then a hard asset like gold has to go up nominally. If you're going to debase the dollar, Bitcoin has to go up nominally.
Yeah. If gold gets to 25K, it'd be a great day. So what you thinking here, Alvin?
He's thinking sell.
Yeah, I've been selling it. I did, yeah, I've been selling it. However, I was wondering what your take is.
I'm sure on it. Um, go to the okay. So if price started pushing, probably from these lows to this high. Where is is that your golden zone right there that you have marked
Oh,
out?
that's an imbalance on the monthly.
Is there okay? Oh, go back to the
That was 2 week.
2 week because there's another imbalance below down here. Is that showing the weekly too? Yeah. Okay. So that's that's probably where I would target that this kind of um price needs to come into this area. Now, maybe on the daily you can get a even better or a lower. Maybe the daily is down here, but yeah, price definitely has to come in there.
Okay, so
Go I'm sorry, say what you're gonna say.
I was just thinking like this candle right here at this level is basically something that I guess Kim would call it a demand zone, like an order block, right?
Well, yeah, she would probably call this the demand zone.
Yeah.
And on the daily, I go to the daily. Let me just look at it on the daily.
That would be over here.
So this would that would be it right there.
This one, yes? Mm-hmm.
And I don't disagree with that either because that is there's an imbalance right there.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see that happen. I can see price coming there. I would mark the top of that imbalance versus the bottom because maybe it doesn't have to feel the bottom or hit the bottom. I would put my TP at the top of that imbalance.
Up here.
Yeah, at the wick, at the bottom wick of this of this candle. Yeah.
Mm. Okay.
You know why I see it like that?
Tell me.
You got your order block, you got your imbalance, you got your break instruction. There's your break, there's your imbalance, and price pushes up.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at any other place on this chart where you had your order block, your imbalance, and you got a break of structure,
I came back to it.
price came right back to your order, your area and rolled out.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same. So
Okay, so I see that this is for the, I guess, you're more like long term. It has not broken this level yet with nobody.
okay,
This
that's
level.
cool. However you look at it, that's cool. Um, if you put I would look at it on the line chart myself, but however you looking at it is fine. What you do know is you broke this level, right?
Yes.
Now you pull back into the imbalance because you got a break of structure. You got another break right here, and you got that imbalance. We pull
Yes.
back into that imbalance. So the same with EA, I expect price to roll over. Eventually, you're going to break body closure below this stuff. And maybe it's a little bit bumpy until you get below these lows. And then maybe you'll get a smoother ride down. But to me, it's just it's a good trade that you don't have to do nothing. If you're in the trade, you just wait.
No, I already got out. I bought it up. I bought this
Oh,
up.
okay.
I sold this, but I got out yesterday. So, okay. So you're bearish.
I'm definitely bearish. EA, EN, GA, and I think GN too. I'm bearish.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. All right. Anybody else? What y'all trading?
I'm looking at UJ for the week, and like I looked at it already.
You looking at selling?
Yeah, it had I think a 2 week
Yeah,
order block on
it
that
is a
thing.
2 week bullish. What about?
Yeah, 2 week bullish order block. Pull that thing on back.
Well, hopefully to buy up first and go above the high of it, and then
From
sell.
that daily high. Yeah, I think it's like a wick. It's a wick to it. But that's what I'm looking at. I ain't see too many order blocks for real, like weekly and 2 week order blocks that I liked a whole bunch. How your how your EU trade looking, Ty? You still heavy in profit? I'm only in profit a little bit.
No, EU pulled back quite a bit.
Yeah, mine only a profit. I think a couple
If you
dollars.
took the GU trade, you're in better shape than the EU trade. Not that you should look at it like that, but I know people do.
No, I'm an EU.
Yeah,
I couldn't stand both of them.
yeah, it is what it is. I think sneakily, probably EC is going to play out better than that dollar trade.
I almost entered another position on EC.
Are
I,
you
I
in
closed
EC?
it. I
I
closed
hate
it.
you.
I closed it in profit on Friday because I was like, I don't know if I want to enter a trade on Friday, and then it pulled back. So I just took profit, and I'm waiting for to get another entry, hopefully
Yeah, I like
next week.
I like the structure on this trade, and whenever it starts moving, it's gonna move, man.
So did you check the EC? Was that a 6 month trade? Because I ain't see was that a 6 month or a weekly
Yeah,
trade?
it's the same type of trade as you in.
All right. Well, can you go to the 6 month real fast so I can see something? Because I thought was I tripping? So I don't
You
know if I was
you
tripping.
you was tripping.
When I looked at it,
It went above that high, and then it rolled over.
no,
Yeah, but
okay.
it's not an order block.
That's not an order block. That's what threw me off. That's why I said that because it's not
It's
an order block.
uh,
That's what threw me off.
okay. I call that an order block, but tomato, tomato.
No, I'm just saying, why would it be an order block if it's not
It's
a
a
bear?
doji candle. A doji. This can be either or. Like
I got you. I just didn't know that. That's
to
why.
me, the color don't matter. The doji, and then you get the engulfing. It's an order block.
Got you. I didn't know that. That's why I didn't look at that like this. When I was looking at it yesterday, I'm like, because Kenya put it in the chat, like, Kira put it in the chat, like, yeah, the EC. I'm like, EC? I ain't seen no order block on EC for the 6 month. I'm like, man, what the hell she talking about? So when I looked at it, I'm like, man, how did I miss this? If it was, but I got you.
Yeah, but I think it's moving. It's going to move better than the dollar. I think it will. It's start next week. It's been choppy through here, but you know, once we break this low, I think we'll move pretty cool.
You think it was too low of a entry on a 1 hour time frame? Because there's a breaker structure and pullback on the one.
No, I don't think it's.
Because
Listen,
I got it, like I said, I got it on Friday, but I got out because I was like, nah, it's probably
yeah,
gonna take me out.
I wouldn't worry. Like I think you worry about. I wouldn't worry about it. I would have entered, put my hedge above that high, and it is
Okay.
what it is. If your hedge gets picked up,
Yeah, that's what I did. I started to do that,
yeah,
but
it's not a big
I got
deal.
scared.
But you're experienced with your hedge at this point, and not that you want it to get picked up, but if it does, it's like all right, whatever. I'll wait for the trade to give me where I should have entered. It is what it is. I think all of these trade setups, and this wasn't a 6 month trade, but let me see. This is like that EA trade where we had this doji candle, and we had the inside bar, we went up above the high, and I expected this to start selling. I really think that this is going to come down to the 188 level. I'm not in this trade, but I started like side eyeing this trade when I saw that when I saw the EA situation play out. And what I really want to happen is for price to come and break this low right here, this daily low. So if it breaks that daily low, or I'm not going to say if, I just say when it breaks that daily low, because I think it is. When it breaks this low, it'll give you another option to look at as far as trading a pair. And it'll probably happen this week where it'll push down, break that low, and you can get you a sell entry or short entry for here, and you'll be able to rough ride this trade all the way down to this level. I can see the imbalance So around 185 is where I think this trade is going to push. But if you look at is Kim here? If I take this trade and I fib it from its highest point, we got this push down, and then we pull back close to the 78. So to me, it's a good place to enter. And for me, this would have been my change of character. This would have been my pullback. Price drop, came back up. I'm all in for the sell. I believe it's going to sell. And 185 is about the target area, which is right around this negative 27. To me, it all lines up. You can't make it up, man. Y'all have any questions?
No, can you look at gold, sir? Pull up Gizzo.
Gold. Are you bullish or bearish for gold?
I'm still bullish.
I'm bullish. I'm bullish on gold too. Even with this push up and this pullback, I expect price to get out of here. If I look at this last price, this last little area of a price action has been given higher highs and higher lows. The lowest that I think gold should come is this area right here. And I'm not even sure it's going to come down here, but that's the lowest point. That if it does push down, there's an imbalance right there that it could tap into to go higher. I don't know what the news situation looks like next week. What kind of y'all know what kind of news coming up? Let me see. A Fed chair speech. I guess that'll happen if he don't get fired. Existing home sales, we know that's going to be trash. Jobless claims, and then the PMI number. So, I'm going to watch price, but I don't see a reason why price would break below this area. If I had to gamble or bet on something, I would say that we're just going to go higher from here so far. Maybe we'll go to this imbalance, then maybe we'll get a pullback. I don't know, but to me, all the price action, there's still a little imbalance that we need to tap into. But I think if the week hadn't closed, gold was going up. Are you in the gold buy, Will?
I'm out of it now. I don't be holding gold
I
that
am.
long.
You still in it?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's gonna still go up.
Yeah, I think it's gonna hit that 78 and then we should be done.
Up here?
No, I got it at the swing high of the 4 hours. So right there where it took liquidity.
Right here.
Yeah, if it started breaking up there, then yeah. We going higher.
I think we'll go higher. I think that we'll make another higher high.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. But then I still think we selling down there.
Down here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, but we'll see. You know, it's always about seeing price, market structure. So
That's true. But this is internal liquidity. All it did was
mm-hmm.
push up and establish internal liquidity. So eventually it's gonna come and take it before going higher.
Yep.
All right. Does anybody got anything else? Remember, the dollar should get stronger in the interim. Should get stronger in the interim before they got to start really devaluing it. It would probably align with, you know, the dollar being stronger in July, maybe the first part of August, and then maybe starting to fall off the cliff around the first quarter of of the new fiscal year. Fiscal year and calendar year are a little bit different for those of y'all who don't know. All right, if y'all ain't got nothing else, I see how the market screws.